How's it going, guys? And thanks for visiting my channel. Today I have another brand new release from Godox here. This is the Godox MoveLink M2, and on the side here I have a couple bonuses here with some wired lavalier mics, so don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. In a disclaimer, the Godox sent me these items for me to test it here, and I'm not paid to say anything. This video is not sponsored by Godox. All I'm trying to do here is to review some gear for you guys, and also I need content for my channel, so I want to thank Godox very much for sending me these items here. So the first thing I noticed here, which is nice, it comes with a little magnet thing going on in the box here, as you can see. So I'm going to be opening the box here, and I already have removed the contents out of this little box here, so it's easier to show here. So inside the box, here's your manual, and also the actual case that stores all three units here. There are two transmitters and one receiver. On top here, it comes with two windscreen, which you're definitely going to need if you're going to be recording something outdoors in most cases. And inside this box here, you're going to find the two lavaliers that comes with it. It comes with the actual clip and the removable windscreen right here. Also comes with these two cables here. One is black, the one is red for easier identification because they're slightly different. This one here is for a camcorder, your digital recorder, or any device that features a 1/8 TRS plug. And the red cable here is for a smartphone use. One side will connect to the receiver and the other side features a TRRS plug, which connects to the Android or the iPhone. But if you have an iPhone, don't forget that you need the original Apple adapter to make this work because of the lightning port. And speaking of this cable here, I tried many third-party accessories. Apple is a little finicky with the products, as you all know, iPhone guys like me here. So stick to the original so you'll never have problems, because aftermarket always gives you issues. Also, three USB-C cables in which you can actually charge each one separately, or you can actually use the box itself, which acts as a charger, which I'm going to be using this way all the time. But just in case you don't want to, you have three USB-C cables here. It also comes with this little lanyard here, which is going to be attaching right outside the box here in case you want to slide this on your wrist if you want to. Also comes with these three little discs here, which the idea is to help securing your transmitter when you actually put in your shirt inside, so it doesn't actually slide down your shirt. And the other side looks just like this here. It's just like a plain little metal thing here. Now let's talk about this case right here. Now this box here is not only to actually store very safely your three devices here. As you can see on the side port here on the left, it comes with a USB-C, which you can actually charge all three inside the case. And right here is a LED charging indicator. When it is red, it means your battery is empty, and the yellow one is almost getting there, and the green tells you when the batteries are actually full, so you can actually remove the devices and start using right away. Now when you open the case here, they all look identical. So this is the receiver, and this is the transmitter number 1 and the transmitter number 2. So with this kit here, it looks like they thought of everything, and they also gave a nice touch of elegance, but with a lot of functionality here, so everything is nice and compact. And as you can see inside the case, it's not just a case that's designed to store your units here. You see these gold terminals here, those are actually charging ports, in which features the same exact thing on the back of the unit here. And also these are magnets, so when we actually put this in here, it's gonna pull down a little bit to ensure full contact when you're actually charging, because electricity, you can't have loose items here. Everything has to be nice and tight, right? So you put them back here, and you feel that little force pulling it down. And speaking of functionality, and again back with the magnets here, not only they feature the magnets here, they also feature magnets on the back of the unit, which you can actually slide this anywhere on your camcorders, hot shoe, cold shoe. You can also put this on any surface that's actually magnetic friendly, such as refrigerators and some metals. Some metals, they don't work at all with magnets, but most of them do. So you can actually stick this to anything. So the idea of this whole thing here, obviously you can actually clip this in your shirt or even install the windscreen mic. But if you want to hide the unit for some reason, so they provide these three little Godox little metal little discs here, but these are not the actual magnets. This you can actually use on either side, so in case you want to hide this transmitter instead of clipping on your shirt, obviously you can do that, right? So if you want to hide this somehow, all you have to do is to put it inside your shirt here and use the disc. It doesn't matter which direction it is, facing the Godox logo or not, it doesn't matter. So this is gonna help the transmitter not to be sliding down. So you actually want to place it right here, and it should stay here. But I gotta tell you, these magnets, they're not the strongest thing, so I would be actually taking it easy with this thing here, because don't be thinking they're gonna be jumping up and down and this thing is gonna be secure here. This is designed for like an interviewer that's just speaking, and this is actually gonna be working okay. But I would still ask them to tuck in their shirts, because just in event this thing decides to disconnect or slide down, and those things are very cute. I want to keep them looking very nice, so I don't want this to fall on the concrete and smack the thing on the ground or scratch the surface here. So like I was saying before, I was actually looking for any 1/4-inch threads here because I would actually like to use this device here with the built-in microphone, for example, to go install this on a church pulpit to actually record the sound of the priest saying something or the readers. But since it doesn't have one, you have to invent something here. So I came up with this here. You can actually find anywhere online, which is a shoe mount. It doesn't matter if it is metal or plastic. I actually prefer plastic because it doesn't really scratch the bottom of here. So that's why I put a little gaffer tape here. So all you have to do is to screw one side into a light stand or anything that has a 1/4-inch thread, and then you simply grab the transmitter here and you slide this on a shoe mount here, and it's that simple, and it's not going anywhere. Again, it features a little rubber piece here on the actual bottom, and there is the magnet right there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's right here. You can also use a ball mount here between the light stand and this whole thing here, so you can actually position what angle is best for you depending on what kind of audio recording you're doing. So next I'm going to be showing you guys here another great way to use this device here. For example, you can actually record a speech or somebody at a podium or pulpit or whatever. So the one thing that you have to pay attention here, because if the person is speaking too close to the microphone, which is the ideal thing to do, because the closer you are, the better and the fuller the voice sounds, right? So you can actually use the windscreen if you detect a lot of plosives here. You can also speak off axis, so the breath shoots out this way and the microphone is not actually catching any breath, so that's another idea. And of course, when you use the windscreen here, this whole thing is going to be huge, twice the size, not to mention that little fur here calls a lot of attention. But what would you rather have, the audio problems or perfect audio without any wind noise, right? So there's a little price to pay here. But whenever you can get away without putting that windscreen, good for you, because again, if you take this outdoors, the slightest breeze is going to actually mess up your whole audio, because not only this, I have the Tascam DR100 Mark III. This microphone is so sensitive. Even with the windscreen, you can actually get into a problem here. So I'm just saying that most microphones like this here, they will always be sensitive to wind. So again, you have to absolutely use the windscreen everywhere, every time you go outdoors. Alright, so here we have the 3 units together here, and of course the first thing you want to do is to turn on the unit, which they are located on the left side of all 3 of them. And as you notice, it finishes connecting everything to blue here as soon as they are all paired. And this display here, as you notice, they go out very quickly. So every time I'm going to be having to keep pressing this thing here to bring the display up to decent brightness. These are the transmitters. This is the receiver. And on the left side of them here, the first thing you're going to see is the power button right here, and right there. On the transmitters, they simply mean power button on and off. And on the receiver, this button does 2 things, actually powering the unit and also selecting A and B, which means A and B, in which this buttons here adjust the gain on the microphone here. And here switch to A or B or choose simultaneously. And on the other side here, you're going to find the pair buttons. On the transmitters, you have the pair only. And on the receiver is always a dual function. This one also pairs the unit and also selects mono and stereo. And here are the USB-C ports in which you can actually charge these units individually instead of charging all 3 at the same time in the box. This side here, there's nothing going on. And the transmitters here, they feature their own microphone. And this jack right here, which has the microphone icon, is for you to actually connect your wired lapel microphone here. On the receiver here, you see the camera icon, which lets you connect to your smartphone, camcorder, digital recorder, or whatever device that has a 1/8 of an inch jack. And here's the headphone icon that allows you to monitor this unit while recording, even if your camera does not have a way to monitor the audio or if your camera doesn't have a headphone jack. But keep in mind that you're going to be experiencing some latency here, so if you are the actual person that's going to be listening or monitoring to your own voice, it's going to be a little confusing. So now if you're interviewing other people, the latency is not really a problem because it's not your own voice, so it doesn't really confuse you that much. So right here is the actual gain here. It comes default factory as 0. So using the minus and plus buttons here, you can actually adjust both transmitters at the same time. Now if you want to adjust individually this one here, for example, click on this button here again, which is the A and B switch plus the power button, right? So click in here. Now you're going to be adjusting the levels for this one here. Or this one here, pressing this button again, you're switching to this one here. And then you make your adjustments here. Then you go back to adjusting both at the same time, click one more time, and then you're going to be adjusting both simultaneously. And obviously here's your battery status, and right here on this bar here represents every time you speak here the audio meter is going to be registering something. But as you can see, there's a little bit of delay here. One thing that I find extremely annoying is every time I have to demonstrate something here, I have to keep tapping on this button because this is going to go out every 10 seconds. And right here is the battery status of both units. Here's the battery status of this unit, and the same thing for this one here. And here's your stereo mono status here. If you want to change to mono, simply press this button here and switch to mono, and again back to stereo. Right here at the links, it means everything that's blue here, it means it's connected and synchronized. When you take this out of the box, everything's already synced, but just in case it's not synced, all you have to do is to come here and press and hold the pair button. Now it's going to be looking for devices, and then you come here and do the same exact thing, press and hold, and then everything is synced again. So if you start from here, it's going to be looking for the signal here. So if you don't do anything, it's going to pair itself. There you go. And on the transmitter here, this is your mute button here, which is the easiest thing to accidentally mute this when you don't want to mute. Right now I'm on mute mode. Right now I'm on unmute mode. And here's the audio being registered. So when you press mute, nothing registers here. Press the unmute again, audio starts to register again. And again, notice there's a little delay here. And again, here's the actual link and your battery status. Same exact thing for this one here. Usually when you press the button for the first time to highlight a display, usually no command is executed here. But on this unit, actually you are executing a command. You're not only lighting up the display to a broader screen. So I'm already set to mute here when all I wanted to do is to actually highlight the display here. See, as you can see, you press the button, it's already doing things here. So make sure that's unmute. And there's a very thin little line here. They really have to come close and see here. And to power them off, you just press and hold the button. So right now you're listening to the very audio of the Godox MoveLink M2, the actual wired lavalier microphone here, which I'm using right now. I'm going to be demonstrating the actual built-in microphone later. So right now it's the raw sound, no EQ, no compression, nothing, just straight out of the box here. And right now the same audio with the same mic, but I added EQ and also compression here, so it sounds like this. And every person, every editor, every user, they have a personal taste, how much equalization you want. So in my case, I think the best sounding option is this particular amount of EQ and compression here. Now when you're actually using the headphone jack from the receiver or from the whatever device they're using here, I experienced some latency, probably an eighth of a second, I can't tell for sure, but there's some latency thing going on here. And it's gonna be a little bit difficult to actually speak if you're actually the one who is speaking on the device, and if you wear the headphones, it's going to be a little confusing. But if you actually intervene another person and you're the one that's just monitoring the audio, that's fine. The only thing that's not cool if you were speaking at the same time listening to the headphones, right? That can be a little annoying. And another thing that I noticed here, which is a good thing in my opinion, the stronger the signal here that comes out of this unit to your recorder or camcorder or whatever, the better it is, because you don't necessarily need to input a lot of gain here. So in this case here, I'm actually using -4, sometimes -5, because the signal coming out of this unit here is kind of hot, which again is a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing in case you are recording something that's extremely loud and the -5 is not enough. So in my opinion, I think they should make a gain adjustment on both the transmitter and the receiver, because my Sony UWP wireless system can actually adjust the gain on both the transmitter and the receiver. The advantage to that is, since most microphones withstand sound pressure up to 120 decibels, in case you will pass that threshold, you're going to experience distortion, again, if it is a very loud situation, because in most cases you're going to be recording normal things such as people speaking instead of shouting or screaming, or you're not going to be using this to record a drum set with the mic right next to the snare drum, of course not, but just in case you want to go that route, and then you will need to actually have a feature here that you can actually adjust the gain also on the transmitter. So to illustrate what I'm talking about here, every time you buy a wireless system, at least something of this nature right here, the first thing they have to do is to make sure that you calibrate the units here as far as the audio gain and how sensitive the mics are and everything. And this is a common mistake that I see very often, even friends of mine, you know, people that don't have 100% experience with sound. So those things, they have to be taken into account. For example, again, the first thing you have to do is to calibrate these units here. Let's say the gain, for example, if you only adjust the gain on the actual receiver and then the audio that leaves the transmitter comes already distorted or clipping, there's nothing really much you can actually do with the receiver or whatever device you're recording here. You can actually lower the gain all the way down. You're still gonna get clipped audio because the sound, again, already left clipped out of here because of the gain of the transmitter is set to the wrong level. It's a little bit of a tip for you to calibrate your audio. If you don't want to hear this, you can just skip ahead. But this is gonna go really quick and simple here, just in case you're interested in learning a couple things about audio. So let's say that you actually give the microphone to the talent, and usually what they do on set as a a sound test is like, hello, test 1, 2, 3, and then when the interview starts, the voice volume or the tone of the voice, everything changes. So what I would suggest to you, either with the Godox system or any other wireless or whatever device that's recording the talent, you actually tell him or her to actually do the lines, the actual real thing, have the other interviewer interview the person, right? That's when you get a real sound test, and especially watching for ha 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 ha, or when the thing goes really loud when they laugh. And then this is the test that you do here. So you go ha 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 ha, you test your microphone. If it is not clipping red here, your device has been calibrated. What's important is the sound that's leaving the transmitter clipping or not? That's why, again, calibrate your level here. So the same thing with the Godox receiver here on the settings here. When you actually do your audio in decibels here, the meter, make sure it is a -5 or -3 or 0 +4, whatever suits your needs here, but make sure first you calibrate this before you start doing any sort of recording. And also make sure you also have somebody always monitoring the audio, because you don't want to travel 240 miles to shoot something, and then when you go back to your studio, you find out the entire audio sucks, right? Always monitor your audio. Now I'm going to be doing some further testing here, and also how to properly speak on a lavalier microphone. Usually the talent should be facing this way here and not looking down, because when you look down, this is what happens. The voice gets louder. It gets better also. But you're supposed to be speaking this way here. A professional actor or a talent, every time he's turning the head this way here, the body actually turns this way. Hi, this is Louis with Art Video Productions, and I'm trying to show you guys a little technique on how to speak on these microphones here. Right now you're listening to the actual built-in microphone of this device here, and the gain is actually a lot louder than the actual wired microphone here, so you're gonna have to adjust your recorder here, in which I already did before I started this test here. And another thing they have to keep in mind is there is a latency here. In case you are monitoring yourself, it's going to be a little bit annoying. But again, if you are actually the person that's going to be monitoring the audio and somebody else is speaking over here, no problem. The reason why I'm wearing the headphones here is because I want to detect the plosives and other annoying things that people do, for example, such as things like this. So you gotta be careful that, like again, microphones like this that are built in, they are very sensitive to wind, the slightest breeze here. And this is when you actually install the actual windscreen that comes included with this unit here. Right now I'm speaking off axis here on purpose because I'm gonna show you later what's going on here. So every time you actually place the microphone closest to the mouth, your voice will always sound fuller and nicer, the highs, the mids, lows, everything. But with the caveat, with the problem they're going to be dealing all the time, which is called plosives. Plosives are these worded with P, B, stuff like that. So in this case, you're going to have to install the windscreen that comes included with this device, especially if you're taking this device outside, outdoors, or anywhere there's wind or anything like that. Now that's a lot better. So when you say words with P, B, pa, pa, the plosives gets a lot better. I don't know if they're still here, but you can significantly reduce the plosives. I keep forgetting that I'm actually speaking on this thing here, so I'm speaking like sometimes this way, sorry. Now one thing here to pay attention, every one of these buttons on the outside here, you can easily accidentally switch something or make changes. So I wish these buttons, they were like harder to press with a harder rubber material and even more recessed, because the only way to hold this in a safe way in between the two buttons here, and luckily the other side also has a clearance here that you can actually place your two fingers this way here. So when you yank this out here, you did not make any changes, you didn't press any buttons here. But if you try to grab it like this here and actually remove this or insert, you're definitely going to be bumping into something here. Another thing that you have to pay attention here, when you actually install this microphone on somebody's jacket or shirt, make sure you actually loop this through here so you don't have that wire mesh hanging on the suit here. And also be careful with this teeth here, because it can actually grip on your wire and then cause some damage. Now next I'm going to be doing a test here to see how omnidirectional this microphone is. So right now I'm speaking directly in front of the microphone. Now I'm going to be actually rotating the mic to see if anything changes. Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2, 3. Apparently it's doing a good job on all sides. The voice seems not to change, which is a good thing. Unless, of course, you do this, right? Because the distance alters the volume of the sound here. Now I'm going to be doing a test with this microphone here. I'm going to be turning around just in case you need to do this some reason. And then testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2. And testing 1, 2, 3. Now the next test I want to do here is to see if there's any difference with the audio recording. Right now my Tascam DR100 Mark III is set to left channel only, and the M2 has been always set to stereo this whole time. So I'm going to switch to mono here, see what happens. As far as the sound goes here on my left channel here, I don't hear any difference. Right now I hear both channels on right now as mono, and I'm only using one transmitter right now. The other one is turned off. Next test, we're going to be doing a stereo test. So here I'm turning on the second transmitter, and it's still mono. I'm going to switch to stereo. So testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2, 3. As you can see, the audio is actually mismatched because this is supposed to be here and this is supposed to be there. So testing 1, 2 and testing 1, 2, 3. There's actually no way to tell which one is left, which one is right. All I gotta tell you is that when you actually turn them both on, this will always be the right channel and this will be always the left channel. So I actually put a little label here saying A, which is A or B, right? And the other one meaning left and right. So I'm gonna be switching microphones here. Now we have test 1, 2, testing 1, 2, 3. So every time you want to do this to make sure it is in a stereo in the right way, we're interviewing somebody here and there. So the talent on this side here is going to be mic with this mic, and the other talent is going to be mic with this microphone here. Now when you're recording mono, you don't have nearly as much flexibility as you would have when you're recording stereo, because you can actually lower this channel or higher this channel here. So right now, if somebody is actually lower than the other one, and there's not really much you can do. And let me ask you something. Every time I see your videos, they're like, 2 hours and 40 minutes long. This is because I not only review products here, I mix a tutorial with workshop and also some audio or video or whatever cinematography classes here, everything embedded in one review. So it makes my channel also more valuable. So next one, I'm going to be teaching you guys the 3-to-1 rule, which is simply the proper distance that each microphone should be apart from each other. So the problem that you're going to have with audio, every time you mic a drum set or every time you mic 2 people here close to each other, you're going to have to deal with phasing issues if you actually put too many microphones, because trust me, the more microphones you use for one thing, the more problems you're going to have, especially something called phasing. For example, the 3-to-1 rule. So what I'm trying to say here, the sound wave must reach this at the same time the sound wave reaches this microphone here. So if they are out of place like this, what happens is the sound wave is going to hit this one first and this one later, which is going to be causing phasing issues, which actually violates the 3-to-1 rule. I've been doing audio for a long time, sometimes longer than most of you guys been born. So I'm going to be showing you guys here an invaluable tip for professional audio, because a lot of schools, they don't even teach you this. So the 3-to-1 rule means how far or how close can a microphone be from each other. If this microphone here is like 3 feet away, the next one has to be 9 feet away at its minimum distance. So when you're actually using both microphones, the sound wave must reach absolutely at the same time on this capsule and this capsule right here, otherwise you're going to have phasing issues. So right now you can't really tell any phasing here because we're actually recording stereo, left and right, so there's not really a big problem with phasing here. But guess what? Your tracks that you actually add your audio, everything is mono, and actually when you switch to mono, this is actually when the big problem is gonna arrive. So right now I'm gonna be switching this to mono. You're gonna see how nasty this problem is. Check this out. Right now I'm in mono, so phasing. You hear this? So when I actually have the microphones apart, so 2 inches from my mouth, and probably this distance here should be safe. No phasing. No phasing. Phasing. So be careful with that and watch out. I'm gonna be generating a pink noise sound here to better illustrate what I'm talking about. So right now I'm going to be moving the microphones in which the sound wave is going to hit at the same time, so no problems with phasing, and again with the distance. Here's a good example here. On this recorder here, as you can see, the microphones, they are well separated from each other because this microphone measures about this much, and 1, 2, 3, so it's safe for them to be at this distance here without any phasing, even if you're recording dual mono here. Now when you have a recorder like this, the microphone looks like this here. This is the ORTF mode, in which again the sound waves arrive at the same exact time. This is why they are placed this way here. So to avoid phasing issues, you gotta do this, which is that. So the sound waves arrive at the same time, or keep the distance right here. In this case here, this distance should do. Right now I'm gonna be placing both microphones equidistant, so the sound wave is gonna arrive at the same time and no phasing issues. Now the next exercise, I'm going to be actually placing this microphone slightly ahead of another here, and look what happens. That's called phasing. Now let's do the same thing with this microphone separated. No phasing. No phasing. As soon as they cross, look, So if you haven't heard this before, if you didn't know about this, I hope my content was useful to you, so you can actually use this technique on your next production to avoid phasing and other issues such as clipping. Again, calibrate your transmitter and receivers, and also keep your microphones on a proper distance. Remember the 3-2-1 rule. Next, I'm going to show you guys how to use the MoveLink M2 utilizing a smartphone. In my case here is an Apple iPhone. Now this cable lets you know immediately which one is a smartphone cable and which one is the actual cable that you plug in a camcorder. The TRS is the part that connects to the receiver here. So let's connect it right here, the one that features a little camera icon. There you go. And the TRRS is the part that you actually connect to this Apple adapter here. So right now I'm going to be plugging it in here, and I'm going to be powering on these devices. So right now, as you can see, I'm at -4 here, which I found the most appropriate gain for most devices such as this one here, and also my camera that's recording this video, which is the Canon C100 Mark II. So as you can see, the system here is quite hot, so all the signals here, they're actually too strong at 0 dBs. As you can see, is actually blowing up the audio here, or clipping, right? So I'm actually using a professional app for a phone here, which is called the filmmaking Pro. You guys probably know which application that is. So when this app came out, there was no such thing as controlling the gain here. Right now there is for a long time, but before there was no such thing. So thank God this thing actually has a gain adjustment here. So right now all I have to do is to hold in here and actually set the level that I want. So testing 1 2, testing 1 2, just in case this device didn't come with an audio adjustment here, right? So look at here, testing 1 2, all the way to here, which is nothing, which is a beautiful thing. So when you're actually using the regular phone app, you don't have this luxury, but apparently the actual app that comes with your phone, I think it has AGC or automatic gain control, which somehow will avoid distortion or clipping on your audio. But I still like to record my videos on something more professional, such as the filmmaking Pro. So right now the phone is actually picking up its own microphone here. Nothing's connected, so let's connect the cable here. And then you're gonna hear some loud thing here, which the thing doesn't record. So right now the actual microphone is the one that's actually capturing the noise here. So I'm actually tapping here. Look at here, the gain. So good. So as soon as you plug this cable here, this thing is going to work immediately here. So next I'm going to be speaking about this close here. So the audio gain here looks good. You can also lower a little bit from here, or you can actually come here and record a little less here. Right now I'm maxed down to -5. So your only option here is to actually decrease the gain a little bit here. So right now it looks pretty good. So let's do a recording here. So testing 1 2 3, recording levels should be all right and good to go. So that's it. And press stop here. And to hear the actual audio, you have to remove the cable, otherwise you can't hear anything. I was trying to actually monitor through the headphone. I wish there was a thing, at least with the iPhone, you can't. You gotta literally remove the cable here. So let's go to the playback and see how this sounds. There you go. Okay. So testing 1 2 3, recording levels should be all right and good to go. So that's it. And press stop. There you go. So as you can see, it records very well. And I think this is actually a fantastic device. All right, so right now I'm doing a test range here, simulating a similar situation such as a wedding. So I'm pretending I'm a groom, that's why I'm wearing this suit jacket here. And a meter, if you guys don't know exactly what it is similar to a yard. So a meter is about this much here. So I'm gonna be actually stepping equivalent to a meter, and I'm gonna be counting each meter instead of speaking a bunch of mumbo jumbo here. So if something happens as far as transmission loss or dropouts or static, at the particular meter number, you'll know exactly what number this thing starts to fail. And by the way, this is the Canon C100 Mark II. I have the receiver set to -3. So now I'm gonna be start walking here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. This is 10 meters, and usually most wedding ceremonies outdoors or inside the church is gonna happen between 10 or 15 meters away. And sometimes the groom is like well fit, a bigger guy, right? So he has more body mass. So I'm gonna be actually simulating a problem. So I'm gonna be temporarily blocking this device here. I'm gonna be turning around to see what happens. So I will be able to see only after the recording to see if we lost any signal here or any static or whatnot. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, that's 20 meters, and the steps that I'm doing here is this long. Okay, this is even more than a meter each step here. It looks smaller from here, but I'm actually doing this here. So at this distance here, most things you possibly will use this devices here will be probably 20 meters. Anything beyond that, that's a little silly, but I'm gonna go all the way back there. But right now here, I'm gonna be turning around normal, if it is a groom of my size. So, and then again, I'm going to be trying to block this transmitter here to see what happens. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Sometimes they walk here a little bit away from the camera sight, right? So right here. And then sometimes they look down this way, which is not good because the voice is louder. So ideally you speak this way here, right? But anyway, let's continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 30 meters. And it's a good thing that we have some background noise here. And I'm going to be turning around. And again, in line of sight with the camera. Continuing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40 meters. And there you go. Now you can see me. And continuing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50 meters. So here I am, and I'm gonna be running a little bit just to see if something happens here, as far as like, you know, something bumping on a jacket or something that's undesirable to have as far as audio. But like I was saying, most things that you're gonna be filming, interviews or weddings or whatever, this distance here, that should be it. And if nothing happens between the camera in here, to me it's already a sale, because over there it's a little extreme, but if it works well over there, good for us. So that's the end of my test here. That should do. So right now I'm not doing any test range anymore. I'm just showing how this mic sounds like outdoors and without the actual windscreen fur here. So I would actually tell you in advance that if you plan to use this device outdoors with the slightest breeze, it's not going to work out. You will definitely going to need to install this here. Right now there's like zero wind, zero breeze, but I can tell you up front already that you will need this. This is only good for indoors, and if you don't speak directly into the mic, because it's going to also generate plosives. And I'm going to be walking back and forth here, just trying to catch some wind. I think I'm going to walk a little faster. There you go. I feel some breeze here. And this should be enough to wreck the sound here. So there you go again. Okay, that should definitely be registering here. Now I'm going to actually install this, make sure the actual hole here matches the microphone, right? And right now I have the actual windscreens installed here, so I'm going to do the same thing that I did. So all I'm trying to do here is to create some wind, because it's pretty quiet wind-wise. So, but I think if it is even a little bit windy, you should be okay with this. It's just like, you know, loud that everybody sees everything that's going on here. You can also try to hide it a little bit, but it is what it is. So I hope this test helped you out. So thanks again for taking the time to watch this video. And next thing here, as a bonus, I'm going to be actually reviewing the two items that Godox sent to me here. These are actually wired microphones, which is also compatible to your smartphone, as you can see here, both of them here. Now the cool thing, as you can see here, this actual plug is a TRRS, which is also compatible both iPhones, Androids, and also regular devices such as camcorders or test cam recorders or whatever that is, with a simple switch of a button here. So it actually changes the actual circuitry here, which simply cancels the third ring here. So again, this is actually good for both your regular camcorder or your smartphone. So this comes with a manual here and a very nice little leather pouch here, and I already took most of the things out of the plastic bag, so it's easier for me to do this here. So it comes with this little adapter here in case you need the full 1/4 inch size, and this is a mono adapter, as you can see here, in case you need to hook this up on a mixer or something like that. So the wire is very long. It comes with a nice Godox little Velcro here to keep everything nice and tidy. Also comes with a windscreen, which is actually very easy to lose. Be careful with that. What you can do in this situation here, I use this tape here. The brand is Sure Tape. It's only found at Lowe's. Home Depot doesn't sell this here. So all I have to do here is to cut a tiny little piece here with this double-sided copper tape here. And as you can see, it's a very nice and clean tape. Very high-tech, actually, as you can see the pattern here. So put a little bit of, you don't need to do the whole 360 here. Just to put a little bit of the material here. And as soon as you slide, it's going to stay here for a long time. It's not going to be easy to lose like this anymore. And it also comes with a metal clip here, the same clip that comes with the MoveLink. And right here is very simplistic. There are only two buttons here. The first button here is going to control the actual gain, so 0 to -10 decibels. I would actually recommend that you actually leave it at -10 because again, this thing can actually be generate a pretty hot signal, which again is a good thing. To keep your audio gain low and less noise being introduced. What I mean by noise is not the actual street noise, it's the the hissing. So the higher the signal, the less noise you have in your recordings. And this unit features a battery here, which is a protective cap that prevents the battery from getting drained while it's in the box. So the unit is not going to work until you come here and actually remove the little plastic so the battery has full contact with the actual terminal here. And here's what the battery looks like. So it also comes with this little ribbon here so you can actually eject the battery easier. So first thing you want to do is to make sure the positive side is facing this way here. And put the capsule back here, and now you have a working unit. So the first time you actually unbox this, the wire is going to be all over the place. I don't know why, but it's always like this when I actually get something for the first time. Because for most people, this can actually be a little bit of a pain to untangle all these wires here. So if you follow this procedure here like this, you will not have any problems actually putting this wire back. As you can see here, do this fashion here. It's like number 8. So when you actually open the wire, no problem. See, there's no tangling here. You just grab it from this finger here, like this. Slow motion for you. Like that. Then you keep doing this. Then again, no problem. Now let's test the audio of this thing here. And this is the actual audio of the LMS60G. As you can see here, I'm scratching the mic here. So this is the actual sound of the thing. So omnidirectional test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Should be pretty much the same on all sides here. And even for a lavalier microphone, of course, every time you speak directly into a microphone like this, it's going to sound different than if you put the microphone here, in which you're going to be using for as a short thing here or this side here. And right now I have this button here actually set to the camera mode, so don't slide this if you're not using this with a smartphone, because that's going to be making this plug as a TRRS instead of a TRS. So you're going to have a lot of problems with the recording here, so don't do this. And the other button is simply an adjustment of gain. So let me back this up a little bit. So it's actually 10 decibels louder and 10 decibels shorter. So testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2, 3. So right now is the 10 dB louder. And here right now is the normal sound, and again 10 dB louder. So you gotta back it out or close it in like this here. And right now let's check out the LMD40C, which is the same exact thing, other than it is a stereo microphone. Comes with the same pouch. This one I actually never opened before, so this is actually the first time I'm actually opening this thing here. And the manual should be in here. Yes, it's right here, and it comes with a little desiccant little pouch here. This is actually what the other one will look like when you take out of the box the first time. It comes with everything separate here, the actual little microphone windscreen here, and the other one, of course, and the clip. Everything comes separate, as you can see here. And the other clip comes here, and again the little mono adapter here. And there you go, you have the actual microphone. So let's plug this in here and see what happens. And here's the actual sound of the LMD40C microphone. This is actually a dual mono microphone, which lets you mic 2 people, but you're actually recording in mono. And also this microphone is slightly hotter than the LMS60G, which has one single microphone. I guess because there's 2 microphones here for some reason. So this is slightly louder than the other one here, but it sounds exactly the same. And this is the actual audio process with EQ and compression. So this is the way I actually like my sound to be, at least using this microphone here. Everybody has a particular taste, so in my case here it's gonna sound like this. You do whatever you want with your EQ and compression. And to finalize here, keep in mind, never forget the 3-2-1 rule, something you guys learned today here about avoiding phasing. So don't forget about that. You're gonna have great audio every single time, at least not having phasing issues in your sound. With this microphone, the other microphone, the Godox MoveLink, or any other microphone that you have here. And that's the end of my review. If you like what you saw, please consider subscribing to this channel and make sure you hit the bell notifications for more contents like this, and you'll be notified when I upload a video, which is quite often here. And once again, thank you very much for visiting my channel, and I'll see you next time.